No. There it is. Can't forget the clapboard. What's up, everybody? I'd like to welcome you back to the Retired Gamer. I am your host, AO is the Future, here in a different set. We're actually in our event area here, and I really wanted to make a reaction for the Edwards versus Usman 3, and kind of just give my initial thoughts to my mainly to my Facebook network. My Facebook network has a lot of people that are interested in boxing, UFC fights, and that type of stuff. So this is primarily for them, but I'll probably put this on YouTube just because, right? Anyways, the fight was extremely competitive. I feel like the better man definitely won. I definitely feel like Edwards did enough to hold on to the belt. And unfortunately, as an Usman fan, he did not do enough to take it away from Edwards. So the reason why I said that, just kind of like the overall feel for it for me was like Usman had so many opportunities to just bring some damage to Edwards, and especially in the clinch. He had so many opportunities, but Edwards was fighting for position, trying to make sure that Usman wasn't kind of grabbing his hands together in the clinch and being able to take him down. However, when Usman had great opportunities for some elbows, he had great opportunities to get some knees in, was not happening. And I feel like his corner was just like that, like it wasn't even giving him any guidance. It was just more or less like just saying like, yeah, you can just walk through this guy. And Edwards proved that you can't just walk through him. So much so, I think like the first 17 kicks he landed. He was 17 for 17 with his kicks, and that says a lot. Edwards is a kickboxer, as far as I know. He fought tonight like a kickboxer. He probably threw maybe 20, 25 punches throughout the entire match. Not a lot of punches to the body. Very, very few punches to the head. And but a lot of kicks. He kicked a lot. I think he landed 66% of his kicks throughout the night. Usman did a good job defending him, although he let in I think it was a left kick to the body early in the first round that got him landed. It was a great kick, great rural flush, but he recovered pretty well from that. He took a high kick later in the rounds. I think that might have been in the third round where he took a high kick. I think on his right side, because I think it clipped him right in the back of his ear. It might have been third or fourth round. But I just felt like Usman. I just feel like they didn't have a game plan. I'm just gonna tighten this up real fast. I don't know if that was loud. But I feel like Usman and his team didn't have a game plan for after they take Edwards down. He was extremely effective in the clinch. He was able to take Edwards down, I think 4 out of 10 times, which is 40% may not. It's great in baseball, but not the best in the UFC where takedowns is concerned. So kudos and hats off to Edwards for his takedown defense. I think Edwards tried to take down later in the match, was stuffed completely, but he was able to manage to get back to his feet, and that kind of leads me into when Usman had Edwards against the cage. I want to say that was in the third round. And Edwards used his left hand to prevent Usman from taking him down. And it really didn't make any sense to me from Edwards' perspective, because he was doing so well just standing up. Usman was getting him in vulnerable positions, but Usman wasn't doing anything with them. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't matter how many times you take somebody down, if your takedown isn't resulting in them getting like shots to the face, or getting knees to the stomach or knees to the leg, that stuff needs to happen. Otherwise, you're just pretty much taking up time and just trying to use your weight to kind of like slow them down. So, especially when Usman had him against the cage, I want to say that was either like in the second or third round, and he could have just been kneeing Edwards like in my opinion, I'm not Teddy Atlas. I have no accolades behind it. So this is all observation from my couch, right? So being in there, maybe things are different. I'm sure they are, but I really truly believe that the way to be a fighter like Edwards, him being such a kickboxer-ish kind of fighter, you need to limit that distance based on the first fight. They should have been training to close the distance and work as if you're in a phone booth, all elbows and knees. That way you can immobilize your opponent by the knees. When you get him in a clinch, his knees, thighs, that's all damage. That's going to slow him up. You want to kick? All right, let's see you kick after you get kneed 15 times in your thigh. Now try kicking me, right? So, and then getting those elbows working in, because you got to get your opponent closer, because the closer you are to a kickboxer, they can't kick. This is just logic, right? But hats off to Edwards, because Usman was vulnerable to the uppercut. Kept on every time he would come in, he get low. Edwards caught him with a couple uppercuts. I think he hit him with a nice left uppercut. I think that might have been the third round. As far as Edwards and stuff, I felt like Usman should have went into the match instead of just being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take it to a street fight, and I just want to like old school, just knock somebody out, get violent. We need to be a little more strategic there. We should have took it to the phone booth. So your elbows are going to be real effective. Your knees are going to be effective. And you can see when the kickboxer, you can really see when the kickboxer is loading up, especially if he's fighting southpaw and he's jabbing and he's coming with that left kick and he's bringing that across. You can see every single time before he gets ready to throw it, they're getting leverage. They have to get leverage. So what you want to do is you want to limit that time for them to be able to, you want to just disrupt them as much as possible. Disrupt. So in that way, they can't ever get set. Now, Usman's corner was on that type of time, but the way that they were telling him that he can just like run, just throw 50, 60%. I think this is what he said in the fifth round. He said throw like 50 or 60% of your strength and then take him down, run him down and take him down with no guidance after that. Once he takes him down, then what? You see what I'm saying? So, and there was a time when I think Usman could have got like side mount and could have really done a lot of damage, and Edwards was able to get out of that. So I think Edwards definitely did enough to keep the belt. I definitely think that he delivered the most damage. I think Usman was extremely sloppy. I want to say after the head kick, I want to say Usman got really sloppy with his strikes, especially in the fifth round, right around that 3 minute and 30 seconds left, where you would expect Usman to really shine, especially with his cardio and him being in such phenomenal shape. Those championship rounds just proved to be, like you really have to dig deep, and I think that that he could have gotten it. But I think that he needed to kind of get more tapped in with his elbows. Usman landed a really good elbow. I want to say that was in the second round. Off the top of my head, it might have been in the third round. But regardless, I feel like the elbows was there, as was Usman's jab. He didn't jab enough. So I think he might have been, how do you know what's going through his head? He's probably thinking that he's going to get a bunch of high kicks the entire time. But Edwards low kicked him like so many times, right? So all in all, it was a really good match. Extremely close, razor thin close. I almost anticipated a draw. But, Edwards was in his hometown. There's no way they're going to end that with a draw. And from Usman's perspective, never, ever let it go to the scorecards. And with that being said, treat life like the boxing ring. Don't let it go to the scorecards. Give your all in there, baby. All right? On that note, take care. Peace. Ayo is the future. Signing off.